2012, I bought a boombox, went to Sugar House Park. I put a post on Facebook. 3 people showed up. And I was like, well, at least I got to work out. And then 4 people showed up, and then 1 person showed up, and then I said, I quit. Then 100 people showed up. And I was like, all right, there's enough need to do something. My name's Ian Acker. I'm the founder and executive director at Fit to Recover, a safe place for people in recovery to connect through fitness, nutrition, creative arts, and service. And here, you're good enough just who you are. And you can express yourself, you can get stronger, you can eat healthy, and you can be of service to somebody else. You know, I can't tell you how many people say this place has saved their life. And that's a really, really cool thing.
This community, ever since I've come here, I've realized it is a caring community. People care about their neighbors, they rise to challenges, to exert their collective impact, to work together to try to solve what may seem to be unsolvable problems.
My name is Michael Workman. I'm a physical therapist with the charity Ability Found, and our mission is to bring mobility equipment and people with disabilities together to empower them and give them freedom that they wouldn't have known otherwise. One story I can think of is a little girl, Sloan, with spina bifida. When we first met her, we weren't sure what type of wheelchair she was going to need. Plus, on top of that, she was really small. By giving her a way to get around, her speech and her personality and everything just blossomed because she could do so many more things.
In Utah, we have 600,000 tons of food that goes to waste every year. And yet there's 400,000 people in Utah that are food insecure, and that number is greater now. And so my question to myself was, why? My name is Dana Williamson. I'm founder and president of Wasteless Solutions. To date, we've rescued over 300,000 pounds of food, and that's equivalent of about 260,000 meals. Everyone, in my opinion, is deserving of good, healthy food.
I started listening to these stories, and I was absolutely spellbound. And I think what moved me was all of these regular people giving of their time and their creativity to try and make life better for other folks. It doesn't get better than that.
There are a lot of people in Utah doing good, and there are so many unsung heroes. They understand the real needs in their community, and they rally to meet them.
My name is Sasha Harvey, and I'm an executive director of Salt Lake Donated Dental Services. We had a patient come through our sedation program, and this one child had a medical condition where his enamel was too thin. All of his teeth were decayed and eroded. So he had to break his foot apart by hand before he could swallow it because he couldn't chew. They got all of his teeth taken care of. They did extractions, they put space maintainers, crowns. So when he came back to our office for a post-op check, he was smiling ear to ear and just telling everybody that he's not in pain anymore. And the mother was thanking our staff with tears in her eyes. I knew how grateful she was that we were able to get her child out of pain.
A few years ago, we had a transgender youth who was kicked out of their home in November. In January, the police showed up at Encircle to give a restraining order to this youth so that this youth would not be able to get within 300 feet of their home. Over the months, I had so many feelings of anger toward these parents and how could they kick their child out. We were having a meeting and this youth comes breaking through the doors and says, "My dad's coming, but this time it's not bad. He wants to learn about who I am and to change." And so we were so excited, and then the meeting goes on and I almost forgot this dad was there, and I walk into the kitchen and there is this boy and his dad making cookies together. I have learned that everyone who comes to Encircle has the best intent. For these kids to thrive, it's all of us learning more about who they are and learning how to better support them. I feel so lucky to watch these parents' hearts change and them to love them and embrace their children. And to see that change is something I never thought I would be a part of.
There are hundreds and hundreds of organizations that hardly anybody ever hears about, but they're making a difference to one individual, one family, one community every day.
Back in February, we got a report that there was some children living in Fountain Green that over the weekend, they ate paper and water in a bowl. That's all they had to eat. There's a real need here in Sanpete County for people and individuals who do not know where their next meal is going to come from. My name is Jeff Jarman. I'm the Executive Director of the Sanpete Pantry in Mount Pleasant, Utah. A lot of times people will have the need, but they don't want to tell anybody. We have even witnessed people like myself, they were stable and things were good, and all of a sudden they have a $3,000 or $4,000 prescription bill. Where's that money going to come from? You have to decide whether you're going to eat or whether you're going to take your medication. It gives me a great deal of satisfaction to know that I'm in a position that I can actually do something that has an impact on this county.
We learned that many people lack access to housing, transportation. They lack access to sufficient food.
Do you have a roof over your head? Do you enjoy security? Do you know where your next meal is coming from?
My mom grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and it was a very tough life, and I saw her family members and how tough it was for them to get out of it. And just felt that with a little bit of attention and a little bit of hope, people can go a long way. We had a mom that came to us about 3 years ago, single mom, 2 kids, and she was utilizing her food bank. We found out she was homeless and was part of a domestic violence situation. She had been living in her car. We helped her get her GED, we put her in our Circles program, and she now owns her own electrical company in Denver. We empower families to be their best.
You can imagine that if people don't have regular housing or food or language skills to even know how to access some of the services, it's very hard to be healthy if you're just struggling day to day.
If a student isn't having their basic needs met, such as food, clothing, or shelter, they often act out in class. They don't attend school on a regular basis. They struggle socially, emotionally, physically. There's a lot of repercussions because those needs aren't being met. I think I've been impacted most by a story of a young man who's probably maybe 3rd grade, who was acting out in class, and as the teacher sent him to the social worker to discover what the issue was, she found out that his back had been rubbed raw by his underwear. He had been wearing his dad's tighty-whities tied in a knot in an effort to keep him on his waist, and as he moved in his chair, it would rub his back raw. And as that social worker asked him if you could have anything to relieve that pain and anxiety, what would that be? And he's like, I just want a pair of underwear that fit. And we were able to provide that. And to see the tears in that little boy's eyes, knowing that he had a pair of size 8 underwear, had a drastic impact on me.
This past school year, we had over 800 students identified as homeless in our district. We have a huge need in our community. We have families that are tripled up, people living in camping trailers. I had 2 young boys living in a storage shed. One family that I've worked with for the past 4 years is a family that on and off has no access to electricity or running water. They camp, and for their bathroom, they use a grocery bag and a bucket. I remember brushing the little girl's hair. It was knotted and muddy, and changing her into clean clothes, and what a difference that made for her for that day, and just being able to have access to being clean. I would never look at a grocery bag the same way ever again.
The organizations that are in the community really have a deep, deep understanding of that community, and they have oftentimes years of expertise in solving specific problems.
Right now in the state of Utah, 1 in 4 children is either physically or sexually abused. I think sometimes people take it for granted that there's things going on in their backyard, that there's things happening to children that they don't want to think about. Children are amazing. They're so resilient and they can go through so much and just come out on top. And they're so loving and so trusting. They need somebody to stand up for them and to help them. It makes me feel good to know that I'm there helping them through a hard time.
Yada, do you want to go swimming one day?
Yes.
What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Pink? I like pink too. Do you like cats?
Yes.
Do you have a cat?
Yes.
What's your cat's name?
Mario.
Mario? That's a nice name.
Children with opportunity gaps are less likely to thrive as adults. And research shows that a strong mentorship presence in that child's life not only improves outcomes in the moment for that child, but also into adulthood. I had a big sister. Someone saw and defended my potential. And I hope we can all say that. I hope we can all say that someone stood for us. And if we can, then it's our duty to pay it forward and defend someone else's potential.
While the Select Health mission is to help people live the healthiest lives possible, I really think that mission is aligned. I sense that every day with these other organizations. They're all trying to help people with their health and well-being and their immediate needs. I believe this at my core, that the way to have a lasting impact is to work together.
We are so excited to be the recipients of this award. Our intention is to use the money for comfort bags. And so when somebody has attempted suicide, they themselves and their families will receive this bag, along with a card that just communicates to these people that they are loved, and to just hopefully provide that hope that keeps them moving forward.
Youth exiting foster care can have a really tough time. Up to 25% can become homeless within the first year, and that's especially so when they're not set up for lasting success upon termination. With the SelectHealth Award, we plan to create 50 transition to adult living home starter kits. With those kits, the kids will be able to have essential home items when they're moving into their first apartment and living independently as adults.
One of the things that we love to say that we do here is to prevent harm, to provide hope, and to heal relationships. There are so many organizations doing such great work, and to be able to have those funds here, to be able to further our mission and to be able to further our work and make a difference in the lives of the families we serve means everything.
Select Health and Intermountain, we're here to serve. And we do much, much better with partners. I'm struck by the commitment that the people who live in this part of the world have to their communities and to their neighbors.
We do, as a state and as a nation, we face a number of challenges. And what I would ask everyone to do is find your passion, find your truth, and share it with others. One small action at a time, multiplied by thousands and millions of people, we can truly, truly make a difference.